Hello, my name is Julie Lee from Wheeler to Share, and today I'll be going over Unit 3, Land-Based Empires of AP World. The time period of Unit 3 lasts from 1450s to 1750s, and today we will be focusing on the belief systems and administrations of these land-based empires. In the next video, we will move on to Unit 4, which is all about transoceanic interconnections. First, we will start off with subunit 3.2, which focuses on the administration of the empires. Administration of European empires focused on the consolidation of power, which essentially means that power was strengthened so that it could be more effective. Today, three examples will be mentioned to explain the consolidation of power in Europe. The first example is the doctrine of divine rights of kings. This doctrine states that kings gained their power from God, which meant that they were in ultimate power. Furthermore, if people were to challenge the king, it would mean that they were challenging God, which gave people enough reason not to challenge or oppose the king. However, the downside to this doctrine is that it caused the kings to consider themselves to be above the law, which resulted in unlawful and unjust actions from kings. The second example of consolidation of power in Europe is the justice of the peace. Justice of the peace were people who were sent out to various areas in England. Their main role was to settle legal disputes and carry out the wishes of the monarchs, whenever the monarchs themselves could not attend. And the final example of consolidation of power in Europe is absolutism in France. Absolutism was a monarchical system that gave the kings absolute power. It was widely used in France and can be reflected mainly through Louis XIV, who had consolidated so much power that it wouldn't be a stretch to call him a dictator. Next, we will look at the consolidation of power in the Ottoman Empire. One practice widely used by the Ottomans to consolidate power was devashire. This practice was carried out by the Ottomans as they took enslaved people from tribute states and either made them serve in the military or work as administrators. Slaves were usually from the Southern European and Balkan Christian population due to the fact that the Islamic religion states that Muslims cannot enslave each other. Another practice widely used by the Ottomans was the making of janissaries, where enslaved boys were trained to be part of an elite military squad. This squad was extremely crucial to the Ottomans as they were one of the most powerful and elite squads that the Ottomans had, the janissaries were essentially stronger or almost as strong as the army. Consolidation of power in East and Southeast Asia are clearly illustrated through three main countries: China, Japan, and India. In China, there was the reintroduction of the civil service exam, which allowed for the removal of any trace of Mongolian rule. In Japan, there was the Tokugawa shogunate, which allowed for the power transfer from the daimyo to the shogun. And finally, in India, there was the zamindars, who were tax collectors established by Akbar, and these tax collectors essentially carried out his wishes. An important aspect of the administrations and empires during this time period was the legitimation of power. Some examples would be Islam being stated as the official religion in the Songhai Empire, the construction of the Taj Mahal in India, the construction of mosques in the Ottoman Empire, and the Palace of Versailles in France. All these techniques were significantly effective because religion, art, and architecture affect the people's imagination. Hence, this means that once a person sees or experiences something magnificent relating to religion, art, or architecture, they immediately acknowledge the power of the commissioner. Now we will move into the final subunit for today, which is 3.3 and focuses on the belief systems of the empires. The two main religions that were most common from the 1450s to the 1750s were Christianity and Islam. First, we will talk about Christianity. During this time period, the kings had started to consolidate power, which transferred Europe from a feudalism to a more centralized, which transferred European power from feudalism to more centralized monarchies. During this time, the Roman Catholic Church had started to lose power due to their authority being questioned. This was because of three main reasons: the Church's inability to stop the Black Death, theological disputes, and corruption. An important individual to Christianity was Martin Luther. While reading the Bible, Martin Luther had realized that the church was corrupt as they practiced simony and sold indulgences. Hence, he had decided to speak out through the 95 Theses, which he nailed onto the church's door. And this had eventually led to the Protestant Reformation, which spread through Europe. Important fact to know about the Protestant Reformation was that the Protestant Reformation was able to spread as quickly as it did due to the printing press, which had allowed for the 95 Theses to be published quickly and be spread all throughout Europe. Next, we will talk about Islam from 1450s to 1750s. During this time period, Islam had faced significant conflict between the Sunni Ottomans and the Shia Safavids. The rivalry and conflict between the two groups started when the Safavid Empire fully shifted to Shia Islam around the 1500s. This was an important and crucial move, as it showed that the Safavid Empire was completely denying the legitimacy of the Sunni Muslim, which in result had offended the Sunni Ottomans. Hence, this had eventually led to continuous conflict and dispute because the Safavid Empire and the Ottoman Empire had essentially bordered each other, which means their empires were right next to each other. An important figure in Islam religion is Akbar. As mentioned, Akbar was previously mentioned before, and he was the ruler of the Mughal Empire, and the reason for his significance was due to his openness to all religions. This was significant because rulers open to all religions barely existed during this time period, as many were focused on the fact of spreading one religion throughout the country. And that's the end of today's video. I hope it was easy to understand, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment. Also, if you would like to watch more videos from We Learn to Share, please subscribe and turn on the notifications. Thank you.